Hello, beautiful people. How are you all doing today? Listen, a few weeks ago, I posted a video here. It was talking about the Crips LLC. They filed a trademark for Nipsey Hussle, the marathon continues. After he passed away, they added the continues on there, and they filed a trademark on it. That video is one of my most popular videos. It has almost 1,000 views. And one of the main things you guys want to know is, what about Blacc Sam? What about Nipsey's brother? Why doesn't he have the trademark? Somebody needs to help him in this. So what I want you to do is stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you all about Blacc Sam, his trademark application, and why. Welcome to the Legal Tea, where we discuss pop culture from a legal view. I'm your host, Attorney Montgomery, brand attorney and owner of Off the Mark IP Solutions, where I help clients throughout the United States protect their brand content and ideas through trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. We got a good one for you today, so let's get started. Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to another episode. Listen, we're going to just jump right into it, getting ready to head into teach tonight's class, which is the Launch Legally Blueprint, where I teach entrepreneurs like yourself how to protect their content, brand, and ideas in only 30 days using trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. If you guys are interested in learning how to do that for yourself, leave me a note in the comments or email me at lacania@iprotectbrands.com. All right, listen. So after everybody reaching out to me and saying, hey, what about Blacc Sam? This is really messed up that the Crips LLC just came out of nowhere and tried to, kind of profit and benefit off of this man's legacy. This is what I really wanted to tell you. Well, this is what I found out doing my research in order to respond to you guys' video, and everybody that watched the video and shared the video, thank you so much. Everybody that reached out and asked me to reach out to Blacc Sam, this is what I need to tell you. One, he has an attorney. I've looked at his trademark application. He did file this application with an attorney, which is great. But because he has an attorney, I can't reach out to him. So he's good. He has representation. But I think that also shows, and so I'm going to back up. So he has an attorney for this application. This is not Blacc Sam's first trademark application. There are 16 applications filed. They're either pending, registered, or they're dead that have been filed by Blacc Sam and or Nipsey. So he has he has trademarks for, and we're just going to go through these. I'm in the USPTO, like as I'm talking to you, I'm in the database right now. The first trademark that they tried to get was for Nipsey Hussle, the name under musical sound recordings. Unfortunately, that one was abandoned. That was back in 2009. And they filed it together. It was abandoned. I'm not really sure why. I can go in here and find out. We can find out why exactly was abandoned. They had an office action. The USPTO had some additional information that they wanted from them, and they weren't able to provide it. So that one ended up, So that one ended up not being registered. But no worries, Nipsey Hussle's trademark is protected because he did file one. The next trademark that Blacc Sam has is for Crenshaw in the font print that they use on their clothing. He has one for that. Well, he attempted to get one in 2011, but it was abandoned. He also didn't file an office. He didn't respond to an office action. So here's this thing: office actions. Once you file your application, one is going to sit in there in the USPTO's database for 3 months, just waiting to be assigned to an examining attorney. That examining attorney, once they get it, they're going to look at your application to see if it's even worthy to be registered. Is it conflicting with someone else's mark? Is it missing something? And if it's conflicting with someone else's mark, or if it's missing something, or they have questions, they're going to issue what's called an official letter. That official letter is an office action because you have to take action within 6 months or your application is abandoned. So the first couple of trademarks that we're seeing, they have been abandoned simply because they failed to respond to the office action. But in 2013, there is a registered trademark for Nipsey Hussle. So that name, that is protected. His legacy is protected as far as that's concerned. There's another trademark for Proud to Pay that Blacc Sam owns. So we're at 2 right now that's actually registered. 3, because he has Proud to Pay. He has the word mark, and then he also has the logo. So right now, Blacc Sam has 3 registered trademarks. 4 registered trademarks. This one is for ASI. It's the logo for ASI. 5 registered trademarks. Like I'm saying, they're not new. They didn't just wake up and start thinking about protecting their brand. They've been doing that. They've been, my shirt says, owning their genius. They've been in a position and recognizing that in order to control these assets, they have to own these assets. So now they have one for Crenshaw. So that's 4. And they filed one in 2014 for the marathon. And actually, this is the first one that they have an attorney. They have an attorney of record. His name is Robert Burlingame. This is the one they filed in 2014, but they were not successful. They weren't successful in registering the marathon continue as it relates to clothing in 2014. But then they turned right back around in 2015 and filed another application for the marathon continues. And they used the same attorney, and they have a registered trademark for the marathon, not continues, but for the marathon as it relates to clothing. This is important, and I'm going to tell you why it's important once we get to the marathon continues. They attempted to register a trademark for Marathon OG, but it was abandoned. And they used a trade. So they've been using a trademark for the marathon trademarks. It seems like they've been using an attorney. His name is Robert, as I say, Robert Burlingame. So this one was not successfully registered. Then they have one that was successfully registered, and it's called South Central State of Mind. And that's actually registered on a 1B that's a 1B application. It hasn't been successfully registered yet, but it is. Let's see what's going on with it. There's an office action pending for it. So the attorney has to respond to the office action. Some of these things too, let me just stop right now and tell you what some of the problems are with these applications. And I just had a call about this morning. When people come up with a phrase or a short phrase or a name, they want to put it on a shirt. Like I have, if you're looking at my shirt, it says Own Your Genius, right? And so somebody would want to go and get a trademark for Own Your Genius for clothing. But when you use it in this mark or in this way, it's not a trademark. When you see Own This Genius, when I wear this shirt, people come up to me and they say, hey, that's a nice shirt. Where'd you get it? Right? And the reason they say that is because when I use the words on the shirt like this, it doesn't identify the source of the shirt. And if it doesn't identify the source of a good or a service, and in this case it's a shirt, it's not a trademark. So just because you come up with a short phrase or a cute phrase, if it's not associated with a good or a service, it's not a trademark. So some of these applications are getting office actions because they're not associated, or they can't show where it's associated with a good or a service. And so that's just something for you guys to know on your own. Like if you're thinking about, if you come up with a phrase or you want to start a clothing line, you have to know that you just having a shirt or a picture or something on the front of a shirt doesn't make it a trademark. It has to identify the source of it. So they turned back around and they filed another application for Marathon OG. And with this one, the application looks like it's pending, and the office action has been sent. I'm just going to dig into this a little bit, and it's for the reason that I just told you. When you put in a marathon, you have Marathon OG, and you put it on clothing, that doesn't make it a trademark. You have to use it. You have to identify the source of that good or service, and the way that you do that with clothing is when someone says, hey, where'd you get that from, or who made that? What's the first thing you do? You go and you check the tag, right? Because the tag is an indicator of who produced the shirt, who made the shirt, where you bought the shirt from. So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it is in your packaging. If you are in the business of if you have a clothing business and you are trying to, make sure you have the right specimen, the way you ship the garment to your client, if you have it in a package and it has a sticker on it and it has that name or that mark that you're trying to protect, that will count. But you just can't put it on the front of a shirt and say, oh, okay, that's my trademark. That's not how that works. Let's come back out of here. So like I said, he has several pending, and now we get to the marathon continues. But it was really smart for them to seek legal counsel simply because of everything that's going on around that trademark. Not only do Crips LLC have an application, but on the same day that Blacc Sam filed his application, somebody named Leslie Rover, and I didn't look and see who that was. Maybe you guys know and can tell me in the comments and on the show notes who that is, but they also filed a trademark application. To the marathon continues. One of the things that's good is that he already has a trademark for the marathon, and if I was him, I would have referred back to that trademark on my current application to let them know that I already have a mark that's associated, already have one trademark that is similar to this mark. Okay, that's one thing, right? And the reason that we have to do, and he filed a 1B application. If you recall, in the Crips, they filed a 1A application. Now, 1A application says that, hey, we are using this mark right now in commerce in association with this whole list of services that they had, right? Well, Blacc Sam was smart. He filed a 1B application. Why? Because one thing is, the marathon continues no one started saying the marathon continues until after Nipsey passed away, because he was always talking about the marathon. But after he passed away, people were showing respect and saying, hey, the marathon continues. It's not going to just stop with you. The marathon will continue, right? So it wasn't until then that people started saying that. But nobody was using it in association with any types of good or services as of, before then. So he filed this 1B application that says, hey, I'm not using it in commerce now. I'm not using it to identify the source of a good or service right now, but I plan on doing it, and I plan on doing it soon. I have a bona fide intent to do that, and I'll leave a video about bona fide intent. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see some videos about bona fide intent that'll give you more detail about that. Or you can listen to, if you're on the podcast, you can listen to season 2, episode 9. Beyonce and Jay-Z teaches us about bona fide intent. I'll break down what it means to have something to file a 1B application and what you need to do. So you can definitely listen to that one for more input on bona fide intent. But it's just important to know now that Blacc Sam did file a 1B application. So what that means is, even though the Crips filed their application first, when they get their office action saying that what they submitted doesn't prove that they're using it in commerce now, and their application eventually gets abandoned, then even if they refile, they have lost their spot. And the next application up is Blacc Sam. And actually it's going to be Blacc Sam and the Leslie Rover person, simply because they both filed on the same day. And they're going to have to duke it out over who's going to be able to have this trademark. So that's a good thing. So filing the 1B actually is going to give them priority over the Crips, because their application is going to eventually end up being abandoned. And there's another thing too. Even though they filed first, what's going to happen next in the process? So remember, I told you that the examining attorney is going to look at the application. They're going to see if they have any problems with it. They're going to issue an office action. Let's just say that they respond successfully to that office action. They submit something and the examining attorney is like, okay, I accept this. The next step is for that application to be published to the public for objection. Now, that doesn't mean everybody can go and file an objection. The only people that can file an objection to the registration of that mark is someone that says that if you register this mark, it's going to harm my trademark in some type of way. Somebody that has standing, someone that is going to affect, and Blacc Sam would be one of those people. So I would say if they were to do something and they were to file and a response to the office action and that is accepted, the next thing for Blacc Sam to do is to file an objection to the registration of that mark. When they file that objection, it's going to leave that examining attorney's desk, and it's going to go to TAB, Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, and that's going to be like civil litigation. I don't know how many of you all have been involved in civil litigation, like a car injury or something like that. Hopefully, no personal injury, but that's what a lot of people are familiar with. But that can take a long time. It can be very costly. You have to file motions. You got to write briefs. It can be very long, drawn out, and it can be very expensive, because now that's litigation. So the trademark process in the beginning, it's not adversarial. You don't have anybody really out to get you. You just have an examining attorney making sure that your application qualifies for registration, but you don't have anybody that's like standing up against you saying, no, you can't have that mark, until you get to the publication period. And in this case, if the Crips LLC mark is approved for publication, I definitely see an objection being filed. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, you need to reach out to Blacc Sam. He needs to know this. And so I go back and I say, Blacc Sam has an attorney, and Blacc Sam has a little bit of an advantage over the Crips LLC because of his previous trademark registrations. His previous trademark registrations show where he's been using this mark and variations of this mark over a period of time. And then he'll be able to show also how the Marathon Continues is really directly associated with Nipsey Hussle. So let's talk about that too. You'll be able to show that through publications, newspapers and things of that nature. And when a mark identifies, and well, it's supposed to be a living person, but Nipsey's not living, but his estate could say that this is associated with Nipsey Hussle, and the state does not give their consent for other people to use this mark. That's one thing that could happen. The same day that Blacc Sam filed an application for the Marathon Continues, they also filed an application for Nipsey Blue. It's another 1B application. It's for clothing. It's pending. Again, they filed it May 28th, so it's going to sit in USPTO's database for 3 months until it's assigned to an examining attorney. They filed a third application on that day for Run a Lap. Same thing. It's a 1B application, and it was filed on May 28th, so it's going to be 3 months before it's assigned to an examining attorney. And I'm saying all this to say that this is just something that we're going to have to keep an eye out on, and I will keep an eye out on it just to see what's going on with it. And they filed another application for the Marathon store, and it's for their online services and for their retail store. So he has several applications. Blacc Sam is not new to the trademark game. He is, and I believe he's in really good hands with the attorney that he has. But I just provide this information so that you guys can know what's going on. So when a lot of people saw that the Crips LLC had filed that application, they were the uproar. They were trying to figure out, why would they do that? How could they do that? So I just wanted to come in and let you guys know what the process was, right? So I would say my 3 top takeaways from today, because we always give 3 takeaways when we're doing the legal tea, right? Our first takeaway is, don't wait. If you notice, they've been filing trademark applications since 2009. They didn't wait until 2019 or to Nipsey passed away to start trying to protect his assets and his legacy. They started almost 10 years ago. If you are in business, and I get this question all the time, when should I file my trademark application? I always say, you file your trademark application when you actually have a trademark, when it actually identifies the good or a source of a service, right? And it's used in interstate commerce. But also when you have something that if you saw somebody else using it, you will be upset with. And most importantly, if you have taken the time to do the work, if you've done your homework. And what I mean by work, when we get into business, the first thing we don't come up with a business idea and then boom, the next day start a business. We come up with a business idea and then we figure out how to make that business work. When you've done the work to figure out how to make that business work, how you're going to make your money, how you're going to reach the people, then you can talk about getting a trademark. And if you don't have the stomach for it, if you don't have the stomach for loss, if you're going to go in there and be like, oh, I've been in business 3 months and I haven't made any money yet, I'm going to quit. You don't want to get a trademark. It's about time you get your trademark approved, you're going to be out of the game already. So that's number 1. You want to not wait to get your trademark. You don't want to wait to protect your assets. That's number 1. Number 2, when at all possible, hire help. Hire help, because some of these things, and when I say hire help, I mean hire an attorney, because some of these things, the trademark application is not as easy as it seems. The application is more than just filling out blanks. It's knowing what to put in the blanks and how to fill it out. It's knowing the difference between a 1A application and a 1B application. It's knowing the difference between knowing that I'm going to do this one for clothing or I'm going to do this one for a retail store. It's knowing the difference between, if I'm going to use this mark, I shouldn't have, how to use the mark and how to make sure you're submitting the right specimen so that your application doesn't get denied. So my takeaway, the second takeaway is just to hire help. If you can hire an attorney, hire an attorney. And as you know, I'm available. I'm a brand attorney. I help clients throughout the United States protect their brands and their content through trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. So you can definitely reach out to my office, and we would love to help you. The third takeaway is this is a process. This whole trademark thing is a process. You don't file your application and get an answer right away. You file your application and you got to sit back and wait 3 months before somebody even looks at it. 3 months before they even look at it. So then it's going to be like 3.5 months before you have any word on whether you got problems with your application or not. And then after that, you're going to have to wait another 30 days, right? This whole process can take anywhere from 6 to 18 months and over, depending on what type of application you file. If you file a 1B application and you're not ready to submit your proof that you're using it in commerce, you can keep extending that up to 3 years. So it can take anywhere from 6 months to 3 years, depending on what type of application you file. So you got to have patience. All right? So those are our takeaways today. Listen to me, beautiful people. If you learned something today and you're on the podcast, leave me a review. I would love to read the reviews and I would love for you to leave a review and let me know what you thought about the show. You watching on YouTube? Hey, drop a comment and tell me that you like what I'm doing, that you want to see more of it. Tell me what you took away. Tell me what you took away from today's episode, right? Hopefully I gave y'all some peace of mind as it relates to Blacc Sam and the Crips LLC and the Marathon Continues trademark application, all right? Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button and like this video, all right?